Howdy folks, I'm a woeful wandering witch wearing wonderful white webbing.
I'm Amber.
And here is some more white webbing for us to wear. Alright folks, our first letter on this Monday morning is titled, Am I a Jerk for Demanding That My Girlfriend Clear Out Her Escape Bank Account? I'm a 50-year-old male and I make very good income as a software developer. I came from a very poor background. I had a rough start to my early adulthood years, so I consider myself self-made and very prudent with my finances. I work in a managerial position in a large company and make over $200,000 a year. Add to that a good freelance client base and I make enough to provide for myself, my girlfriend, and our daughter, a 17-year-old female. However, because I came from so little and worked hard, I am prudent about my finances. I have developed a strict financial value in that I believe that you can be frugal and generous at the same time. I feel like that there was no need to marry. I love my girlfriend and I promised that if we broke up that I would be generous and I would give her a fair settlement, which I determined at the time of the breakup. So the situation is now that I think that my girlfriend is feeling empty nest anxiety. She is middle-aged too, so a bit of a midlife lack of adjustment as well. Because our daughter is mildly autistic, we felt that it was basic that my girlfriend quit her marketing job and become a stay-at-home mom. However, around 3 years ago, my girlfriend became upset because I felt like I had turned out so well because I really had to fight to be able to eat when I was in college. It made me value my education more. So my policy is that when my daughter goes to college next year, her schooling will be paid by loans and scholarships that she'll have to get for herself. And then I would give her a total nest egg of $1,000 to use however she wanted to for the duration of her 4-year college career. $1,000 for 4 years?
Yeah.
That won't cover a month's worth of rent in most places, right?
No.
How much does he think that college costs? My girlfriend is upset because she says that my daughter will be taking on a lot of debt, but I think that you need skin in the game. Around that time, my girlfriend started taking on odd jobs, babysitting, and cleaning the homes of neighbors. She'd be putting the money into our accounts, so I thought that was that. However, my girlfriend fell asleep yesterday afternoon and forgot to put away this notepad. She's been suffering from brain fog too, which had grocery lists in the front, but when I got into it, it showed a lot of to-do lists and just her jotting out plans. I find out that she has around $1,900 in what she calls emergency escape funds and jotted down a reminder to withdraw some of it to put into our daughter's tampon box. To say that I was furious is an understatement. After all these years of sharing my money with her and supporting her, I could not believe that she is just labeling me as untrustworthy and hiding money from me. I admit that I did do a little bit further snooping and was able to log into her account. I screenshotted it and I confronted her, saying that she lied to me and made this ugly. So here's my demand. She either apologizes by moving the money to our shared bank account and closes it, or she needs to think about where she would like to live the moment our daughter goes off to college and turns 18. And that if my daughter was complicit in stealing from me, then it would come out of her college fund. Am I the jerk for feeling betrayed? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Massive flaming jerk. It feels like he treats everything that comes into the household as his and no one else's. First of all, this is money that she has earned. Secondly, what about all the money she's saved you by being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of the house for all those years?
And I would also like to point out real quick, $2,000? You're upset about $2,000 when you make $200,000 a year?
This seems like a clear example of financial abuse. He doesn't want her to be able to have the option to leave him. Yeah. You know, his whole, oh, well, I'll be fair. And if we break up, I'll figure something out. I think this shows OP's, girlfriend. This shows the type of situation that will happen if he were to break up with you. He would start getting vindictive and spiteful and trying to take everything you have.
Yeah, well, I think fair is going to be dependent upon what he thinks is fair. And if his girlfriend breaks up with him for an unfair reason, then it's no longer, then he'll be like, well, you broke up with me for no reason, so the settlement that I will give you, which is a very generous and should last you the next 4 years, is $1,000.
Like, and he's like, oh, I'll take away her college fund. It's like, for someone who's making who has millions, like $1,000 is nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know the full details here, but where she was talking about the daughter's tampon fund, like, does he make the daughter buy her own tampons?
That's what it looks like it might be. It seems to be, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps, and I'm going to force everyone else to do the same. And I think that his whole generous is not very generous at all.
No, it's not. And also, I don't think he understands the plight that autistic people face with higher education a lot of times and with jobs. Like, certainly, I think if you have the means to help your kids through college, you should, period. But especially for autistic people, it can be more difficult to finish higher education and then get a job afterwards. So he wants to saddle her with all this debt that she may have a very hard time clawing her way out of.
Why does it matter to him if his wife has a little bit of money set aside just in case of an emergency? Like, if something were to happen to him and all of the money is tied up in his accounts and she can't access them for one reason or another, it's a good idea to have a little bit of money on the side where you can use that money just in case.
Again, this all is that he doesn't want her to have the option of leaving him, and he wants everything to be on his terms. Mm-hmm. And so OP's partner, I think, if you may be time to reevaluate this relationship. Start looking if there are places, you could go if you need to, because I think this does not sound like a healthy relationship at this point.
Yeah. Well, then also, it seems like he's threatening that she should move out, right? His girlfriend, right? And saying, well, if you don't like this arrangement, then you can leave, right? Is he still offering her that very generous settlement of split or whatever it is?
No, I'm pretty sure it's you walk and you have nothing. I take everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just disgusting, again, how he sees all the hard work she's put into this relationship as absolutely nothing. This is all his.
Yeah.
Her income, his. Anything the daughter does, his. Like, it's all his.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very frustrating. So anyhow, take care and good luck to OP's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Resurrection Scary says, so you refused to marry your girlfriend and actually gave her any real kind of financial security, but you want her to rely on you fully? Oh, you're so precious. You are emotionally and financially abusive. I don't love you or trust you enough to actually share my life and finances with you because / I want an easy out from our relationship as an escape clause, but how dare you treat me the same? What a precious little piece of work you are. And Green Seat 8152 says, don't worry, he's planning on giving her a fair amount to be determined by him. Yeah, it'll be determined by a court even if you are not legally married. And due to the amount of money that he makes, his daughter will receive no financial aid from college, which I also think is a really important thing. Is like, even people who are from poor financial situations, he received some kind of financial aid to go to college.
Right, and they will take that into account with the FAFSA. That was something I wasn't thinking about, but yes, you won't qualify for any of the federal grants and stuff like that, anything financial based because of his income.
Yeah, and Apocalypse Joe says, you're the jerk, and let me clarify, you're a financially abusive jerk. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for tricking my mother-in-law and letting her make a fool of herself, announcing my pregnancy when all we did was get a rescue dog? My husband and I are finally in a position where we are financially stable enough to start making long-term plans. We are, however, not ready to start a family. My husband has 3 brothers and 3 sisters. They are all younger than him and none have kids yet. We have a group chat where we talk about stuff and coordinate plans. My husband and I have been on a wait list for a specific kind of dog from an organization that helps rehome abandoned and surrendered pets. My family dog growing up was an AITA, and I have always wanted to have one again. My mom and dad would not give me a dog after I moved out. Just kidding, he's 100% their dog. So we found out last week that we are getting a 6-month-old AITA that was surrendered by a family that didn't realize how much work they were. I put it in the group chat that we were going to be getting an addition to our household soon. It was a joke amongst us. They all know that we've been waiting a better to establish herself before I got pregnant. I guess my mother-in-law was reading over her daughter's shoulder and misunderstood what I was talking about. My husband's youngest sister still lives with her folks. Well, my mother-in-law immediately posted to Facebook that she was going to be a grandmother. People started asking which kid was going to be having a baby, and she said that I was pregnant. We live in a small city. Like, everyone knows everyone. She is actually Facebook friends with my mom. I was on the group chat still when my mom called to yell at me for not telling her that I was pregnant. She was mad that she had to find out on Facebook. I explained that I had no idea what she was talking about. She told me about the post, so I went to check it out. And yep, my mother-in-law was telling everyone. I called her and asked her to please remove the post and said that I wasn't pregnant. I told her that we were getting a dog. Now she's embarrassed and angry at me for tricking her. She said that I was an insensitive jerk to use a phrase like that when everyone knows it means a baby and not a dog. I said that she probably shouldn't snoop into conversations that she wasn't part of. Pretty much everyone is on my side except for her. She won't listen to reason and is trying to convince me to get pregnant because I owe it to her. Pardon my language, but no. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk for not getting pregnant?
Yeah, not the jerk. And you do not owe that to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, the audacity of that woman. You know, this is one of those situations where she snooped into something that was none of her business, jumped to conclusions, and we all know what they say about assumptions.
Yeah.
And now she's mad and shocked Pikachu when it turns out it meant something else. That would be a horrible thing to do, like, if OP was pregnant. I'm so glad that OP isn't, because imagine if you're pregnant and you just, like, text someone and all of a sudden mother-in-law is the one blasting it all over the internet to be the first person to tell everyone.
Yeah.
I think this has at least taught OP that if when they do decide to have kids, make sure that to tell her once you've told everyone else so she can't do this.
Yeah, it seems like this is going to be one of those situations where OP isn't in the wrong at all. Mother-in-law is being very unreasonable here, and she was snooping, and she basically got what was coming to her in that respect.
Like, she embarrassed herself by making assumptions.
Yeah. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And to whom it may concern says, not the jerk, I'm sorry, this person is part of your life. If you end up having kids, she is going to be a nightmare. I can see it now. She will always know what's best. She will defy your rules. If she is watching the kids, she will criticize your parenting. Also, you don't owe her anything. Alright folks, our next letter is an update from a one that we had a little while ago. Update. Am I the jerk for leaving my surprise wedding because I felt blindsided? Posting here because the update rules are confusing. I want to start off by thanking everyone for the responses that I got and the advice. However, I would like to reiterate that Mark is a great person who did a stupid thing. If you know me though, a surprise wedding seems like something that I would love. Unfortunately, I don't. After talking to Mark, we both got to the conclusion that we didn't do anything wrong. Both of us are valid in our opinions, and the situation was an odd one to me. Unfortunately, Mark spent a lot of money on planning the wedding, as well as family members. He doesn't think that we have the funds to plan another wedding for a couple of years. I'll be honest, that choice is really messing with me. I'd like to be married sometime soon and start off life as a family. I know weddings don't have to be extravagant. We could always throw a small party, and once we have enough money to do the second one, but I don't know if that's what I want. I honestly feel selfish and regret not using the surprise wedding. I feel like I wasted a bunch of money. I used to stand by my choice confidently, but now I'm not sure if I made the right choice, and all of this stress is wearing me down. Anyways, I'm staying with Mark and probably will get married soon and have my dream wedding in the near future, hopefully. Again, thanks for all the responses, and I hope people from Am I the Jerk also see this post. Alright folks, what do you think?
OP, I just want to reiterate that you did not do anything wrong. It is very reasonable to want to have a say in your own wedding. Mm-hmm. I understand that you do like surprise things, but I still think that your partner jumped the gun a little bit with making this huge purchase without any input from you.
Yeah, I think he should have sussed out the situation a little better, talked to some friends, seen if they would be willing to kind of fish some information out of you to see if this is something that you would actually want. And then at least you would have gotten the wedding that you wanted in the end. And I think that he did make a financially irresponsible choice to spend this much money on a surprise wedding.
Yeah, and so I know it's hard because you want to marry him and he spent a lot of money, but you can't fault yourself for his bad financial decisions. And for wanting to have some autonomy. Like, it is not wrong to want to say in how you get married.
Yeah.
Even if you know this is the person you want to marry, it's still fine to want to be like, well, this isn't what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got a beverage of choice right here, and Amber, she's got a joke.
Why is dark spelled with a K and not a C?
Well, I can tell you why dark is spelled with a K, D-A-R-K, and not a C, D-A-R-C, because one is drac and one is dark, and we all know what drac is short for. Dracula. And Dracula is of the night, which is a lot like the dark, but it's not quite the same thing. And if we were going around during Dracness, then it would just be really weird, and we'd be like, yeah, this is the Dracula time, clearly. So that's why.
Although I want to point out that it would still be, maybe the end sound would be pronounced differently, but it wouldn't be Drac. It would still be closer to dark.
No.
Because you can't see in the dark.
That makes sense. You can't see in the dark. And you also can't see Drac in the dark. And I have Mega Mint, as you probably guessed. Because it's a Monday, and we get Mega Mint Mondays. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Monday. I hope the start of your week has been going amazingly, and I hope the rest of your week goes well as well. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please make it a surprise.
Snoop on your children's messages and make mountains out of molehills and post random things to Facebook about these grand assumptions you've made. That's the surprise. The surprise is its opposite day.
The surprise is its opposite day. Those are all very bad morals.
Yes.
Thank you, Amber, for the terrible morals. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.